Before we start this review, I would like to make a personal apology to all Marvel fans who I might have hurt over the past few years with my comments on the Marvel movies. I will happily admit that I was wrong. I was so very wrong about Black Panther. Not only is this the greatest comic book movie ever made, but it is unquestionably possibly the greatest piece of entertainment we have in the modern age. I mean, like, we reach heights that Renaissance artists could only dream. And I am now enlightened for seeing this movie. Like, my state of mind, my state of being is where a lot of what takes a lot of philosophers a lifetime to achieve. And I got that just by watching this movie. And I can say anyone who doesn't watch this movie is probably me, because I didn't see it.
Yeah. You
went to go see Black Panther. No joke this time, I did not watch this Marvel movie. I am sticking firm to my Marvel boycott, which I might break when Deadpool 2 comes out.
I'm making you see Deadpool 2 since I love the first one so much. I actually own it. Yeah.
But until then, I'm just kind of done with Marvel, regardless of what people are saying about this, which, given how much people are going on and on about this movie, I expect you to tell me that Tony Stark himself leaped out of the screen and gave everyone in the theater a blowjob and a free iPhone. Now, before you do say anything about this movie, I have to ask, did they, at any point, use the phrase, "It's because I'm black, isn't it?"
No. Not at all.
Okay, well then, did any of the white characters at any point attempt to speak in really stereotypical jive in an attempt to communicate with the black people?
Well, with media's attention to try and be able to relate it, no. Martin Freeman was one of the, I think possibly the only white character in this, and the only other possible white character. Oh wait, no, there is another one, but it's Andy Serkis. Okay. So it's Andy Serkis. He's just going to be entertaining no matter what he does.
Well, that's surprising. That's more than I was expecting. Mm-hmm. You can call me facetious if you want, but when you've sat through these movies and you've seen what they consider to be real, genuine knee slappers, yes, I do expect low-hanging fruit like that. And by the way, just want to say the praise for this movie, greatest comic book movie ever made, would mean a whole lot more if you didn't say it about every single fucking Marvel movie that's come before it. And also, the sales, the box office breaking, again, doesn't mean much when every single Marvel movie before this has set records, have broken the box office, has made quadrillion dollars. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything anymore, okay? It's just par for the course at this point. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, this is sort of feeling like husband and wife, where the wife is way more vocal about everything and the husband just stands off to the side looking away, trying to not feel embarrassed at all. Yeah, sort of like Sheila and Gerald Broflovsky. We are going to take Canada because their moral standards are low. Yeah, I'm not good at a Jewish accent, but yes, Mrs. Bratowski, this wasn't that bad of a movie.
I'm glad you liked it.
And actually, okay, all joking aside, this is better than any Thor movie that I've seen so far. Even Ragnarok, and again, I didn't think Ragnarok was that good, but this is basically just oh god. Okay, I might get some flack for this, but it's sort of a pun tie-in with the title also. This is just Black Thor. Yeah, but it's respectable Black Thor, because the the character alone of the Black Panther. God damn it, I can't remember his name. I think it's Tashada or Tashalda or something like that.
So you're saying it's like the original Thor movie?
Okay, so here, more or less, yes, because here's the setup and background behind it. The way they explain it is that a meteorite containing a rare element called vibranium struck the continent of Africa and provided them, and this is like a super element. It's sort of like the like the Tesseract energy or the energy that Tony Stark created. Well, not those direct energies, but similar to it. Like
or what Captain America's shield's made out of.
Yes, that also. But yeah, it provides life.
Actually, wait. Are they made out of the same material? I thought I heard somewhere saying that they are.
I have no idea. Because it's a possibility.
Because if you notice, there was his claws like left scratch. Well, you didn't see Civil War, but
I'm gonna need you to fill me in at Civil War at points.
Okay, but he scratched Captain America's shield, and so I thought that was indestructible unless it's the same material. I don't know.
That's a possibility, but yeah, this element vibranium is a key point to the entire nation of Wakanda. It's a hidden nation. They explain it as a hidden nation in Africa, where it's like a secluded people. Where they can harness the energy from this vibranium through the plants and the soil and the mountain of element that they have in order to be able to have like powerful technology as well as immensely powerful weapons. And that's that's pretty much the main power source that Black Panther's suit is made out of. So yeah, a consistent theme throughout these Marvel movies is that at points, the heroes themselves are okay in hand-to-hand combat, but it's all power from their gadgets. I.e., that's why everybody has learned from the great mastermind and Jesus himself, Tony Stark. Fuck him. By the way, Tony Stark was not in this movie at all. Thank fucking Christ.
Okay, points to that movie. Points to this movie.
This actually secludes itself pretty well from like the whole Marvel ore of trying to include characters like Ragnarok did. But actually I'm getting off topic from the plot. And yeah, this it's like Tasha. I'm gonna get his name wrong the whole time. I might as well just call him Black Panther. So Black Panther, he is the son of a former he's the prince of the king of this one country, and the nation of Wakanda, it's just Black Asgard. Just think of like the overall layout of Asgard, but have it be just slightly more like of an urban design, but the same like central tall like buildings, the like nice layouts, the uniforms. Yeah, it's Black Asgard.
I wonder how many people are gonna walk out of this movie going, Wakanda. I'll have to visit that African country sometime.
Oh God. Yeah, but they try and keep.
Yeah, it's fictional.
Yeah, but they actually do try and take it seriously with this world that they create, but also trying to include it in our regular world. And they also, you know how this is supposedly breaking barriers or like philosophies or whatever. There is a point in that, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Wait,
but before
what?
there is a philosophy in it.
Okay, I didn't.
But yeah, this whole nation of Wakanda, technologically advanced as fuck, but yeah, they don't let their presence known to the outside world. So that's why Chadwick Boseman, who plays Black Panther, he becomes the leader. He becomes the coronated king of the Wakandan nation, I guess. They put it as the surrounding areas that were affected by it joined arms as 5 tribes and coincide with one piece to be able to function and create this respectable, more or less. They do abide by a lot of code in this. I'm not sure. You didn't really catch up on like the morals and the actual rules that were followed in places like Asgard, where it's still a foreign nation, but with like. But with humans instead of like it being mythical creatures and stuff. Although they do have mythical like rhinos in it because they try and mix their technology with animals, and that's the only one they do it with. But So yeah, Black Panther.
So wait, like rhinos in our world are just like hippopotamuses with horns?
No. They're metal-plated rhinos
Okay.
that they have. It's kind of weird, but you can tell it's obviously CGI, but at least the idea of it is pretty cool. And they don't fucking focus on them like a bunch of other movies try and focus on their weapons. This focuses on the idea of weapons, being that Black Panther, he is, now filling in for his dead father. Did they show his dead father in Civil War? Or
yes, his father died in the UN.
Okay.
Well, there was like an attack on the UN.
Yep, and they do show that in this movie. But yeah, he's now stepping up as king, and they sort of... Well, again, more similarities to Thor. Well, more likely Ragnarok, because they have another way of communicating with the dead in this. Because with Ragnarok, Odin dies, but Thor is still able to communicate because they have the higher power, and they actually do have a power of the Black Panther, which I told you about the vibranium. Flowers and plants that harvest their purple flowers, and they take the power seeds out of them, grind them up, and then put them in the body. So there is sort of a secular power that comes with being in this secluded tribe. Oh, and you know how they make sure that everybody knows where they're from? They're like body seal or whatever. Like, if you're from a specific tribe, you have to have, like, a brand or a tattoo to make sure that you're representative of that group. Mm-hmm. Guess where they have theirs?
On their ass?
Now, that actually would have been funny.
Okay.
Well, okay. If there's
it's like a cutie mark.
Okay, well, you know who Kesha is. She had really stupid joke where she says, "Oh, I have a party trick where I go up to someone in a bar and I say, I have your name tattooed on the inside of my lip." And they go, "What?" It says your name on the inside of your lip. But that's actually where they put their coding. The Wakanda tribe. They just they lift down their lips.
Really?
And there's a blue line on the inside of it.
Okay, how do you take that seriously?
Hell,
you could. Okay, I'm surprised nobody is gonna make the racist. Have you ever heard the racist joke? What does it say on the inside of a black man's lip?
No.
Inflate to 30 psi.
What the? Okay. Okay, that's terrible.
I'm not saying I agree, I enjoy that joke.
That's a previous.
But what? Okay, putting it on the inside of your lip, doing this just to introduce yourself is kind of stupid. But again, that's where my mind immediately goes. Is the joke of what does it say on the inside of a black man's lip?
It's only racist if you are.
Hey, a racist mind is a racist kind.
Oh God. We live in Minnesota. We are the nice people. We don't want any confrontation. No, but anyways, the main story setup is that the Black Panther is learning to be accustomed to fit his role as leader and king and responsibility and noble stuff like that. When Michael B. Jordan, did you ever see Creed?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Creed is walking around with literally a black man's version of an emo haircut. And through a series of events, he starts stealing artifacts that are remnants of vibranium, which is again the element from Wakanda. And okay, I don't want to bring comparisons to Avatar, but you know unobtainium from that movie, The Element?
Yes, I do. I didn't want to say anything, but
it's sort of that idea, except it's a small well, not necessarily small. It's just one secluded area on a planet instead of an entire planet, so they don't try and bring in the environmental crap message or whatever. But yeah, through a decent pace, they are shown. Hey, okay, was Andy Serkis involved in any of the other, or was he involved in Civil War at all?
Not that I know of.
Because at some point he was said to be the mastermind behind the UN explosion.
Wait, was he?
His name was Klaue, or Claw, Klaue.
Okay, he might have been. I'm not sure. He might have been. There was another bad guy in Civil War. I don't know if they're the same person.
Okay. But yeah, Michael B. Jordan, he turns out to have a past link to this tribe and the people, also relating to Black Panther's father, the former king. And yeah, they try and pull that like family story angle where I was gonna say black secrets, but I'm not going there. Where dark secrets are revealed, creating drama, creating trust issues, blah blah blah. But what I'm trying to say is this movie didn't really kick in until about halfway through, because the first like 30 to 40 minutes. Granted, setup is necessary for a movie, but if there are people who already have seen this movie, or no, have already seen Civil War, or have any knowledge of the Black Panther character, granted, this origin was described enough. It's not like Spider-Man Homecoming, where it's just a complete lack of origin story, thinking that everybody knows who the character of Spider-Man is and will just roll with it.
So it's like more like Wonder Woman in that regard.
Somewhat, yeah, but I never saw Wonder Woman.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, so we were already introduced to Wonder Woman in Dawn of Justice.
Yes.
So they kept that in mind when they made Wonder Woman, the movie.
Yep. This is sort of along the same lines as that, mainly because it does bring brief flashbacks to Civil War where they did show some of the origin of Black Panther's like inner motives and like personality and stuff. Mm-hmm. And what that is one huge positive that this movie has. The character of Tashada, I'll get it right at some point.
Tostada.
That would only work if he was Hispanic or Latino. But yeah, he is actually a more respectable hero. Like he embraces a lot more of like justice and morale and honor.
So he's more like Captain America in that regard.
A more relatable Captain America, because even though Captain America has the do good, like I'm gonna bring justice to the world, he's like a Boy Scout.
I'm a Boy Scout.
Yeah, I know. That's why I brought it up.
So don't you dare be dissing Boy Scouts.
Hey, I'm not dissing. I'm just saying Boy Scouts have a specific personality type. You should know. But yeah, so Black Panther, he's more like a mature, sane adult. He treats scenarios and everything with respect, but also he knows when to be human. The comedy that you fear in Marvel movies that they try and enforce, there's a couple bits of those. They're not a focus of the movie like the recent Thor movies had to try and rely on. But Black Panther's sister, who's I guess Princess, she's sort of a comic foil, but she's also used as like the main tech operator, because she's like a brilliant scientist, I guess, because she creates a bunch of the gadgets and the weapons that are used and again, everything is harnessed by this vibranium, so even the weapons have their, it's like powerful enough to have their own defense mechanisms. One of the primary characteristics of Black Panther's suit is that with its defense, any amount of power that it absorbs from any offensive maneuvers like bullets or like blade shots or just blunt force, it can repel that energy right back, sort of like a shield blast.
Okay.
And they actually do showcase that really well in the battle scenes. And okay, even though action scenes are taken over by a lot of CGI and like quick shifty camera work, this actually does rely on a lot of hand-to-hand combat. One of the primary reasons why I explained it earlier. The Marvel movies have shown that you could take these somewhat regular people who know how to defend themselves, but as soon as you put them in a fancy suit, then they're gods and indestructible. Black Panther several times shows that he doesn't need the suit in order to be able to be a good fighter. when he's coronated to be the king of Wakanda right away, he's challenged by, oh my god. So I told you there were 5 tribes. The last and 5th tribe are the people from the mountains, and since they're secluded and living in snow, they wear hides with fur and literally sound like dogs whenever they're moving around. I'm not even kidding you. That's what they sound like.
Okay.
But yeah, their chief leader challenges Black Panther right away to a fight, and he actually does well. And granted, Chadwick Boseman is actually in good shape, but this guy is gigantic, like, built. He still shows through a lot, well, good choreography also. And you know how good fight choreography can be.
Yeah.
It's good choreography. It doesn't rely on a lot of like wire strings to be able to make it look like they're flying around and shit. But it does show good like striking maneuvers, good physical defense. So yeah, that's a lot better than a bunch of the stuff with like the mythical force power that someone like Thor would have, or the ridiculous capabilities again of the well, not again, but just of the Captain America shield. So this guy is a bona fide badass. Like, and he does it with honor. So he's a very respectable character in that sense. That, and he also does put the good of the people and his country, but also knows when to find a happy balance. Even when one of his his great mentor is killed right in front of him, he still doesn't have the leeway to be able to stoop to the level of our villain. Michael B. Jordan is actually a good villain in this, because, well, I told you about the family angle earlier, right? Mm-hmm. He's related to him. He comes back, fire in his guts, and excuse me, fire in his gut and a knife in his hand, ready to kill anybody to get to his goal. And I told you that this actually kicks in halfway. The big thing that everybody is saying about this movie, other than that, oh yeah, it looks cool and it's fun. It's fun. This actually does take a good amount of itself seriously, but in a good way. The only philosophy is in one scene, but it's a good scene, because Michael B. Jordan, he's the byproduct of Black Panther's uncle. Black Panther's uncle was sent to America for some mission or whatever, but decided to betray the nation in order to try and fulfill the prophecy of spreading Wakanda's power to the world instead of harnessing it safely in one place. So yeah, Black Panther's dad kills him because of intent. Well, he was gonna shoot, but he was leaving. Oh God, I'm confusing you, aren't I? Or are you following?
Sure.
Black Panther's dad, the original king, and it sort of also resembles like the gods. Again, this is mostly Black Thor, but respectable Black Thor, and like the communication with the afterlife, and how if you reach God status, or if you reach this immortal status, you'll be in this code or whatever.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it's sort of like the Jedi. Yeah, too much detail.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Black Panther's dad kills his brother because he was trying to kill Forrest Whitaker, who was also a friend of, also a mentor of Black Panther and his dad. And Michael B. Jordan was the son that was left behind because they didn't want the entire world to know about Wakanda, and yeah, he apparently would leak that to the world. It's a little weird, and it's a decision that even Black Panther himself chastises his father for in the afterlife. Mm-hmm. But luckily, it's not dwelled on the decision that was made, but just how to be able to solve it. And and trying to say what the right solution is.
Okay.
And Michael B. Jordan, he comes to the throne saying that he grew up in oppression and wants to be able to supply the oppressed people so that they can rise up. It's the idea of spreading power to the powerless so they can take over the powerful people and then be powerful people themselves. Therefore, bringing the idea of bringing power to the wrong minds, i.e., the mind that Michael B. Jordan has. And that's why most of Wakandans believe that the power is harnessed there to just keep it safe and in respectable hands. And to be honest, that sort of sounds like another lesson from Jurassic Park. But Black Panther, he has the right solution and just brings it to the UN at the end of the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, it does try and dwell on like the idea of who has the power and willing to be able to use it responsibly. That is a transcendent message over a lot of comic books, though, right?
I guess so. With great power comes great responsibility.
Pretty much. To this, it's just set at a larger scale. But when you set it at a larger scale, that means it's open to more individuals with different possibilities of what good logic is.
Okay.
So that's dealt with pretty well. One of the drawbacks, though, I personally think, is that the performance of the lead character is sort of downplayed. Because you know how even with the other movies, like even Chris Evans was at points he had a little bit too much comedy, but he still was able to like lead a convincing role of being a charismatic protagonist.
Well, it depends on what movie you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, then again, you have really strong opinions about the first one. As soon as Winter Soldier came around, he flipped and turned serious.
Oh yeah.
This is sort of like initially what we're given right away for this character, and those two character like arcs sort of match up. So it's not so think about the first Captain America, but with the serious tone of the lead character from Winter Soldier.
Okay.
That's sort of what you get here, but unfortunately, for someone like me, that doesn't. It is respectable to be able to respect the amount of honor and dignity that a real hero, does show, and it does show in Black Panther. But when it comes to acting and being able to portray that, it's a 50-50 shot. You're either going to be, hell yes, you fucking respect me, or yes, you respect me, but mainly because I'm obliged to, and you're a little boring. I found the performance just a little bit boring, and when he had the lighthearted moments when he's talking with his I don't want to say important people, because then important people in his life, his sister, his ex. When you hear ex in a movie, you immediately know that they're going to get back together in the end. And they do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when he tries to show like a human side, I don't want to say it's like too forced, but it just doesn't feel as natural as it could be.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is he plays the role of like good moral leader well, although not necessarily when he tries to show his just like regular humanity and personality.
Okay.
And so with Civil War and what portion they showed of him in that movie, because that was his introduction, right?
Yeah.
What were you able to get from the character in that, and try and cross-reference it with what I said, and would that make sense?
I suppose. I mean, the story in Civil War was mostly him trying to find out that vengeance isn't a worthy cause to fight.
Okay.
And I mean, because when what's his name? I don't know, whoever killed his dad in the UN.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah, he kind of. it mixes in with this idea that what Civil War was trying to do was make was trying to make the superheroes like attached to the government.
Yep.
I forget what the term is. It's like they had there was like a registration act.
Mercenaries?
Something like that. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Civil War, and honestly, I didn't really like it that much. So, let's just say that Black Panther was firmly on the side of registration because that would put him closer to getting down to the person who murdered his father. But then he finds out that's not a worthy cause. Revenge isn't good. That was kind of it with him.
That does show in this as well.
The irony is, of course, that Tony Stark becomes fueled by vengeance, and we're supposed to think that's okay.
Well, luckily we can give out about Tony Stark other points in time, but yeah, that does show here because he is never really fueled by the idea of killing somebody because of wrongs they did. At one point, he actually does come close to killing Andy Serkis in this, but he's taken away from it because one of his head in command, or his commanding officer, or like commander of armies, who's a woman, she says, "The whole world is watching," and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to look bad in public." Bring him away. But yeah, there is a bit of the only like seemingly pointless plot point that they have is kidnapping Andy Serkis because they were gonna make an exchange with the CIA. Oh yeah, Martin Freeman. He sort of pulls off an American accent in this because everything he's done, he's just been native British, right?
No, he was Minnesotan in Fargo.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, the TV show?
Yes.
Oh, did not. Oh, god damn it! Did he sound Canadian in it?
No. He sounded Minnesotan.
Really?
Yes.
Although you stand by the Fargo movie makes us sound like Canadians.
No, I said they
God damn it.
They said the heavy Scandinavian accent, yes, but
no, that's fucking Canadian is what that is.
Well, all right. The Fargo TV show tones it down though.
Okay, thank God. But anyway, Martin Freeman, he's okay. He's okay in this. He's not I think they sort of maybe tried to go like Agent. No, okay. He's not even nearly as involved as Agent Coulson was, and that's his name, right?
Who?
The SHIELD agent who dies in Avengers.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck about that character.
Well, clearly, but yeah, he's basically just the link to America / the outer world, and yeah, he gets injured in combat. They bring him back to their planet, heal him with their magic purple flowers. Yeah, that's also
their planet.
No, not planet. My bad. To their nation or whatever.
Oh.
It's shielded by an invisible shield.
Okay.
So like, yeah, literally, they create a shield that makes it looks like they're living inside of a mountain.
Okay.
And all the technological advances they have, and it's still, well, it does look cool with the African landscape, and actually the African tribe music they have in this is pretty dedicated, and it's actually very good too. The director of this his name is Ryan Coogler. He directed Fruitvale Station, which was a huge indie hit, and I think he also directed Creed.
Okay.
So he sort of specializes in bringing a respectable tone and respectable appreciation for, and relatability for, I guess, blacks in the media, because there are several black projects where they're slandered for trying to be like either pandering or not giving the respect to the light of like black characters and black lives as such. But yeah, I think he does fine in this. There's no distraction at all. The only time that it felt a little bit sloppy was like an opening fight scene where, granted, Black Panther fighting at night is a good idea because it abides by what his character would do. He's sort of like an animal / ninja mixed into a person. But you can't see it very well. The only way you see it is through the gun blasts. But that's only one scene. The rest of it is, again, the fight choreography is really well done. Michael B. Jordan is actually a really intimidating villain in this. He's a good actor in this. You do feel sympathy for his plight also, being left this amazing, wonderful truth behind and working, and again, hell-bent on revenge, but having it bite him in the ass. But yeah,
Closing thoughts.
I did like this. The comedy was almost non-existent, and oh my god, a perfect example of the misguided comedy was so another thing that legitimizes this villain is he actually defeats Black Panther at one point to challenge for the throne. The way that they communicate with the dead, dirt. Bury them in dirt and have them drink the crushed up plant and have them sink in, be transported to whatever, have them have an epiphany and pop right back out of it. So they try and do that in the snow at the mountain tribe or whatever.
So they resurrect the dead?
No. That's how they communicate with the dead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if they can resurrect the dead, that makes a lot of things.
This is sort of connecting to Stranger Things now, because like that is sort of a very comparable element to Stranger Things. I did not even think about that when I was in this movie. I'll explain. Well, I have to show you Stranger Things, and then you'll be able to understand.
I've already seen Stranger Things.
It's like when Elle is being transported into that just plain black zone or whatever.
Right, it's the Upside Down.
No. Wait. Like when they do the whole pool trick.
Right.
The submersion, and it's just
down.
one black thing. That's sort of how it's done, because they feed the potion and then bury them in dirt, and then bam, they're there. But yeah, they have to do that to save him, and they bring in Martin Freeman. I know, I'll wrap up soon. They bring in Martin Freeman and the chief of that tribe, again, who lost to Black Panther earlier in the movie. He's like, "Why do you bring this man into my area?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna do it." And the guy says, "Shut your mouth. Do not speak, or I will feed you to my children." I actually laughed at that line, and he played it deadpan serious too. And I thought that was great. But then they marvelized it. He laughs and he says, "Ha ha 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 ha. No, don't worry. We are vegans." I'm like, oh no, you just fucking ruined it. There are only, I think, maybe 2 other instances with that form of comedy. And they try but it's only with one character, Black Panther's sister. And
in other words, she's a comedic relief.
But way less participative than any other comic relief. I'm not even kidding you.
Okay.
It's under 5 moments of the movie.
I imagine that they toned down the comedy in this one. And for that reason, I might check this out later when it comes out on Blu-ray or digital media.
I know you. I think you'd be okay with this.
Okay. I might. I'm not gonna see it in theaters. I'll stand by that. But if I can maybe rent it at a discount price, I'll check it out.
Yep, I do recommend, because it actually is cool to look at. The premise and the scenery do look very good, and again, it's a little bit slow and the narrative is a little bit choppy. But it does, when it reaches that halfway point and everything starts making sense, it is engrossing. And you actually do want to see how this all unfolds. And yeah, it's all right. It's not the fucking great. Again, it's not like the fucking greatest movie ever made, but it's good. It's good. It's entertaining. And I'm okay that I watched it. Not fucking best movie of the year over hypers, but yeah, it was fine. better than Thor. I will definitely say that. And I was actually contemplating to myself, like, really, what's the biggest surprised reaction, or like the biggest reaction that I've ever had, well, overall reaction that I've had from the Marvel movies in the last like 5 years. The only time I ever felt like genuine, wow, this is cool, was Doctor Strange. Excuse me. But they actually did try and cross like mega fantasy level aspects with the idea of harnessing and controlling your mind. This dawns on like more moral and like moral obligations, as well as like as well as responsibility, and I guess respect, because again, these are respectable people that are in this movie. So, but yeah, it's actually one of the better ones. Simply just, well, it tries to be something on its own. It doesn't rely on. It only relies on a little bit of previous knowledge. It doesn't try and shoehorn in secondary characters. It's good.
Well, join us next time when I'll talk about my movie. See you then.
By the way, Bucky Barnes is in the end of Black Panther. Ah!